Makanda-led team, that is the selection panel, and picking up the first batch of those ones that had presented their bid to be chairs or to man the commission as chairmen and chairwomen, because then we also have women on board. And of course, we get to this very important conversation as to what we make of the process so far, and we'll be having the chairperson elections observation group, Victor Nyongesa, to help us understand this some more. Thank you so much for creating time to be here with us.
Thank you, thank you.
Perhaps Kenyans would want to understand some more as to what is the role of ELOG, and especially at this early stage, now that you're more of observers, yes. And perhaps the assumption would be that the observation process begin during the electioneering period, or perhaps the electioneering period is on all through?
I think I would say electoral process, it's a continuous cycle. You're done with the elections, you begin electoral reforms.
Right.
And even once you're done with the electoral reforms, probably you'll be again in the period of another elections.
Yeah. Right. We talk about the process of bringing commissioners on board, yeah. Or setting up the Electoral and Boundaries Commission, yes. And we talk about certain laws that guide us. Of course, the Constitution being number one. Yes. We have the Kriegler report at some point in time that speaks to how then the election body must conduct itself, or whether what it is as a country we need to do to ensure that we have a commission that is ready and set to run the activities, as you say, all round for 6 years. Do you suppose we have fallen short of the constitutional provisions as to having a commission on board as it stands today?
Okay, thank you for that. I'll say Article 88 of the Constitution is very clear in terms of establishment of the IEBC. And of course, it's also very clear in terms of the qualifications of the individuals. And then we also have now the IEBC Act, which now provides a clear framework in terms of how the constitution of this body, the process, what are the requirements, and, okay. and the eligibility criteria, right. Who is not eligible for the positions and all that. So in terms of the legal provisions, the Constitution and the IEBC Act is very clear. My concern is this process should have started way back in 2023. Because if you look at the IEBC Act, it provides that the process should have, it's allowed to start 6 months before the end of the term of the previous commission, or even within 14 days after declaration of the position of the IEBC chair or the commissioners vacant.
Okay.
You get? But this is a process that has started, I think yes. In January, when we now had the selection panel appointed by the president, already that's over a year period of waiting for this process to commence. But as much as we are talking about waiting for over a year to wait for this process, I'm happy that today we are having now the process that we've been waiting for. It already has started. It has sparked quite a number of discussions out there. There are those ones who are concerned with the issue of integrity of some of these candidates. There are those ones who are concerned with the issue of inclusion, because the Constitution and even the Act, the IEBC Act itself, it provides, it's very clear in terms of representation, in terms of gender, meeting the 2/3 gender rule. It's also very clear in terms of regional balance. So all these questions have already started. We've seen, I've personally encountered such questions. And even I happen to work with young people. There are those ones who are concerned in terms of why are young people not shortlisted for the chair position. So all these questions are out there in the public domain. But I'm happy we are having this process. It has commenced. And what is key is to have an IEBC that is credible, an IEBC that understands its mandate, and an IEBC that is willing and committed to ensure that they execute their mandate.
Do you foresee a possibility of us having that, having flouted the recommendations that are enshrined in the Constitution, as well as, having a shaky process, right from the onset, and, one that comes across as though it's been infiltrated by the politician, in as much as we understand very well that this is a political process?
Yeah, of course, it's already in the public domain. Some of the candidates shortlisted for the chair position and even for the commissioners. Some, if you look at the history of some of these individuals, are probably linked to certain political seats. But at the end of the day, we need to ask ourselves, what is the role of the IEBC?
Right.
And are these individuals strong enough to execute their mandate without any political influence once given the powers to serve in those positions?
Right.
These are questions that can be, it's an open discussion, because I believe at this point, we are not in a position to tell whether the political influencer will have influence in the operation of the commission.
Right.
But basing on the history, we've seen cases of individuals still being swayed based on their political interests, based on their political institutions they represented before.
Would you say that you're confident that this election process is open in any way?
Yeah, in terms of openness, yes.
Open it is. Yes. But credibility?
On the issue of credibility, of course, this one I'll talk about some of the individuals. I don't want to talk about the specific individuals, but we've seen the individuals who've had corruption cases, scandals before.
Right.
Probably first or probably mentioned in some of the corruption cases before.
You know, I want us to take a break. I want us to take a break on that very note and perhaps get to understand, because first of all, the first individuals that get to see or to meet or to, you know, face the panel for interviews are those ones that are vying, or those ones that have presented their bid for the chairmanship. And the biggest question then would be, what does the law speak as to individuals that are supposed to be picked, or the individuals, you know, that qualify for these particular positions, and what you make of the 11. Of course, we might not go to the nitty-gritty details of every of them, but of course, if there's any question or question mark as to credibility that is put on any, I think after this break then would be what it is that we discuss.